Welcome to the newest episode of Beatin' and Bangin'. I'm your host, Kyle Dalton. In today's episode, we have multiple items to discuss, including Chase Briscoe revealing yesterday the surprising ass Ty Gibbs had of him after helping push him to the win at Talladega on Sunday, Kyle Larson talking about this weekend's race at Martinsville and why he's focused on his team and one other specific driver. Spire CEO Jeff Dickerson offered his response to the dumpster fire remarks made by Corey LaJoie, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. took a jab at Kyle Busch on X. Plus, we'll look ahead to Martinsville and who has the best average starting and finishing position, and we'll wrap up with some fun facts and figures from the paperclip. However, before we discuss all those items, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Kufandy. You've seen me talk about these guys multiple times this season. They are a partner with Christopher Bell and the number 20 Joe Gibbs Racing Team and will be featured on the car this weekend at Martinsville. I've raved about their great selection of men's clothing, including their loose-fit hooded sweatsuit set, super soft, heavyweight, yet breathable, and perfect whether I'm barbecuing or filming my latest video. I've also shown you the JGR Color Block polo shirt with its relaxed fit and sharp styling, the JGR Athletic Stretch t-shirt, flexible fabric, bold team logo, and maximum comfort. And last month, I showed two of my favorites from the Kufandy collection, the hooded waffle knit pullover, lightweight, casual, and perfect for layering, and the varsity suede bomber jacket, a vintage look that instantly upgrades any outfit. Our final two items are a combination of what I've displayed in the past. First up, I have this sharp-looking Christopher Bell number 20 baseball cap, which, by the way, I'm going to be giving away to one of you. It's perfect for any fan of the number 20 JGR driver. And the last item is this casual daily turtleneck designed in a classic style that is perfect for this time of the year with the cooler temps. Unsurprisingly, like all of their other clothing, I absolutely love the way the material feels. It's super soft but heavyweight and breathable. You've heard me talk about Kufandy for several months now. I really do like the products and I think you will too. Be sure and check out the links in the description for these and all the other great Kufandy options where you can save 25% off of your order today. A big thanks to Kufandy for sponsoring today's episode and working with the channel all this season. Now, our first news item of the day is from yesterday morning when I was listening to SiriusXM NASCAR radio and Chase Briscoe made his weekly appearance on the channel. They talked with the Joe Gibbs Racing driver about last weekend's win at Talladega and that final lap in particular. Interestingly, Briscoe said he could hear Larson's engine slow down but didn't realize he had run out of gas and instead thought he had got turned. But since he didn't hear the caution come out, he kept racing. He said it was instinctive for him to drop down into that lower lane, and Ty Gibbs followed and helped push him to the win. Then Mike Bagley asked him this question.
How are you going to reward Ty Gibbs? We talking a mug and bun gift card? We talking about a fruit basket? I would assume a man in the 54 is going to get something from you, huh?
Yeah, I told him. He stopped me on my way to Victory Lane. I was like, "You gotta let me know that your favorite restaurant. I'll get you some gift cards." But then he told me the other day. He said, I want some fishing poles and maybe a boat." I said, "Well, I can't help you on the boat, but I can definitely get you some fishing poles." So, yeah, I'm gonna have to go get him something. And yeah, he definitely earned it and then some. He's the whole reason we won that race. At the end of these super speedway races, it comes down to a lot of times just circumstances and who's around you. And when you have the freedom to make a move, knowing that, you have a teammate behind you that will go with you and not hang you out, it just allows you to do so many more things. And, Ty was certainly, the main reason why we won that race. So yeah, it'll come back full circle at some point. I've got, quite a few years left. He's got way more than me, but at some point it's going to be roles reversed where, he's going to be leading at one of these races or in second or third or whatever and make a move and need somebody to go with him. And I'll certainly be able to repay the favor.
Obviously, Ty was a little ambitious on his request. I'm guessing he could have his grandfather arrange for something like that with Johnny Morris. Moving on to our next story, and it actually started last week on the Stacking Pennies podcast when Corey LaJoie revealed some breaking news about Spire Motorsports. Take a listen.
Yeah, the 7 car gets another victim. I really do hate that for him because he went from driving the 48 car, like that he was in the pipeline for that, to now he's doesn't have a seat. I could obviously have a lot of behind the scenes information on how all that stuff went down, but I think Justin is better than what this year has shown, and that is a dumpster fire over at the moment with that 7 team in particular. So it seems like Suarez is going to, when the music stops, is going to be in that seat. Not
Damn, what, he's just leaking information on here?
Sure. I don't care. It's like if you've got sponsorship and you can plug it in somewhere and it's the best available seat, then that's just where you plug your money and you keep getting your fun tokens and drive around in circles.
Clearly, LaJoie didn't care that he was leaking information, and you heard him say at the end it sounded like Suarez was going to be getting that seat in the number 7 car. Well, on Wednesday, that is in fact what happened when Spire announced that Suarez will be with the team in 2026. Reporter Lee Spencer was at the press conference, and she caught up with Spire CEO Jeff Dickerson.
What did you think about the Corey LaJoie comments?
Well, I got a lot of respect for Corey. He's been there. He's been through it with us. I mean, you guys saw the eligibility stuff just came out yesterday, and so we're trying to work through that a little bit. But you know, I'm just crazy enough. It's just like I wouldn't mind seeing how many Carson can do. You know, he's still just a kid. You know, dump him out there. You let him get laps. You know, if Daniel wants to run a couple, or if Michael wants to run a couple, we can do that too. And hope to have Kyle Busch back, and the 200 or 300 guys that want to participate with us sometimes. And so I think it'll look pretty similar. And then one of my hopes, and just to see where all this kind of goes, that's why we're looking at the eligibility, is I'd love to see Tristan McKee, in one of our trucks when he's eligible.
By the sounds of it, Corey won't be driving any Spire trucks next year. Sticking with beefs, sort of. So last year's big beef was the fight between Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Kyle Busch in the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. It's been quiet on that front this season. Well, yesterday, Stenhouse couldn't resist firing a shot at the two-time champion when responding to a post on X that showed the drivers involved in the most crashes in 2025, and third on that list was Kyle Busch, who had a crash rate of 50%. And here's what the driver of the number 47 car had to say about it. Quote, "Crazy to think the guy that gave me the nickname Wrecky Spinhouse is on this list." End quote. Clearly, it hasn't been a good year for Busch, which these numbers confirm. And Stenhouse was having a little fun at the expense of the RCR driver and his struggles this year. Our last news item for the day is from another interview I heard yesterday on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio with Kyle Larson. The Hendrick Motorsports driver was talking about the big race this weekend at Martinsville and the one driver he's going to be focused on throughout the day. Take a listen.
Anybody below the cut line can definitely win. And maybe even aside from Denny, maybe even have a better chance of winning than the guys above the cut line. So, with that, I would say, we really just, have to just outpoint Bell. We're 1 point behind him, and, if we can score any, 2 more points than he does, I guess, on the day, we're in the Final Four. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, really focusing, I feel like, obviously on your race, but, one guy matters more than the rest of them, I guess, in our case. And I would say, similarly for them, I think they're going to be looking at what we have going on throughout the day. And, yeah, hopefully we have a strong car and can, qualify well and grab stage points and do everything we can to gain as many points as we possibly can. Martinsville's been a good track for us in the past, so hopefully we can go there and still be strong and, yeah, do what it takes to make the Final Four and go compete for a championship.
Listening to Larson talk about his plans at the paperclip made me think of 2 things. One, it's amazing to me how these 2 drivers are separated by a single point after 34 races. And 2, it really shouldn't come as a surprise because their numbers are remarkably similar this year. What do I mean? Take a look at this side-by-side comparison of the pair in 2025. And you go down this list starting with wins, and Seabell has the advantage of 4 wins to 3. Now look at the other numbers. Both of them have the same number of top 5s, and then Bell has a slight edge on top 10s, top 20s, and average finishing position. So those are the 2025 season comparisons. Now let's focus on Martinsville since the debut of the Gen 7 car in 2022, and as you can see, Larson has the advantage. In 7 races, the HMS driver has a single finish outside of the top 10, a 19th place finish in 2022, and all of the rest of them impressively inside the top 6, including a win in 2023. Bell hasn't been nearly as consistent on the half-mile track, but like Larson, he does have a win there back in 2022. He also finished runner-up there in the spring earlier this year. Translation, it's going to be a fun battle to watch on Sunday between Bell and Larson. Speaking of numbers, let's take a look at the average starting and finishing position for the field at Martinsville. And as you can see, Larson is strong with the best average starting position of anyone at 6.7. But he's second behind Ryan Blaney when it comes to average finishing position. The Team Penske driver has an incredible AFP of 4.6 in the 7 previous races in the Gen 7 car, while Larson is at 5.4. Blaney's teammate Joey Logano slots in third at 5.6, while Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin round out the top 5. As you can see, coming in 11th as far as AFP is concerned, and the lowest playoff driver is Bell at 14.7. And let's wrap up today's episode with some fun facts and figures from the paperclip. Speaking of playoff drivers, the current playoff field won all 7 Gen 7 races at Martinsville. William Byron and Ryan Blaney won 4 of the 7 Gen 7 races at Martinsville. 7 of the 8 playoff drivers have won at Martinsville, all but Chase Briscoe. The 6 remaining playoff drivers not locked into the championship 4 are all Martinsville winners, with a combined 8 wins there. A playoff-eligible driver ranked 4th or worse in the playoff standings won 5 of the last 8 playoff Martinsville races. One driver that was below the cut line entering the final round of 8 race moved on to the championship 4 in 5 of the last 6 seasons. 4 of them were more than 20 points back entering the final race. The largest gap above the cut line to enter the final round of 8 to miss the championship 4 is plus 42 by Kevin Harvick in 2020. Christopher Bell holds the record for the largest deficit ever overcome in a playoff round by winning the round of 12 cutoff race in 2022 at the Roval. He was minus 45 points. Ryan Blaney won the last 2 cutoff races at Martinsville to transfer to the championship 4. And finally, 6 of the 8 playoff drivers finished top 10 at Martinsville in the spring. All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode. Let's talk about it. First, I want to know what you thought about Ty Gibbs requesting a boat from Chase Briscoe as his reward for helping push him to the win at Talladega. What would you ask for if you were in Gibbs's shoes? Second, what did you think of Corey LaJoie's comments last week on his Stacking Pennies podcast calling the number 7 team a dumpster fire? And more specifically, what did you think of Jeff Dickerson's response? As for you Kyle Busch fans, what did you think of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. calling out your driver for his number of crashes in 2025? And lastly, simple question. Who finishes higher on Sunday, Larson or Bell? Again, I want to thank Kufandy for sponsoring today's episode and working with Beating and Banging this season. I've really enjoyed working with these guys and encourage you all to click on the link in the description, check out their awesome selection of clothing, and go save 25% off of your order today. You can thank me later. And finally, I want to thank you for checking out the latest episode and supporting the channel. I really and truly appreciate it and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the races from Martinsville this weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.